Welcome back to Shantae and the Seven Sirens. We ran into Genghis Khan underground. Now we're going to be getting the 3 ores to build our ultimate armor. Fortunately, it's not as good as X's armor, but it is what it is.
Oh, so the best... oh, yes, you have it on. The best monster card in the game is the one that lets you crawl at a reasonable fucking speed. It's like always been the most annoying thing about Shantae for years is just that you crawl slower than any other game in the goddamn the goddamn world.
You could
And
even
That
say...
never really bothered me because considering like once you got the monkey at the very least, do you ever really need to crawl again?
You could
Yeah,
even say that you crawl at a crawl.
That's a good one.
Nah.
Yeah, but like,
That's
okay,
dumb.
so stuff like why I like the tortoise is that what Ryan did there, he was able to slow down, but then you can also speed back up if you're going in a straight line, and it's so good. Oh my god, I love it. I don't know, I think it's cool, alright? It also is being
Whoa,
a
hold on.
Beyblade, which
Then you realize half Genie powers came with a power drill.
Did any of you guys have a Beyblade phase? Because I had a Beyblade phase.
No, I had a crossfire phase, but not a Beyblade phase.
I never actually
Crossfire-
saw the appeal of Beyblades. I always thought they were a bit
They
silly.
just spin around and they're like, whoosh, and they
They
slam
spin
into
around
each
a
other.
fucking Moses parted the Red Sea with
Yeah,
one.
but you know, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Like Chris.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Had monsters and magic, and that's just way more interesting than Battle Tops. I'm sorry.
I think in the I never watched the show, but I had the toys. I think in the show they're like robots or stuff, and robots are pretty cool. I never really had a super hardcore Yu-Gi-Oh phase. My brothers did.
Well, your brothers are also younger than you, so that makes sense.
I watched GX a good amount, which is not a great show, at least in the English translation of it. But it's like also really strangely endearing in a lot of ways because it's super sincere about the card games and stuff like that. Like, you know, people lose the card game and then they
It's basically Duel Monsters Harry Potter.
yeah, pretty much. So it's just, I don't know, it's a stupid concept taken completely, like, without
At
any
face
sense
value.
of, yeah, but without, like, any irony or anything like that. And I don't know, I always find stuff like that charming. And then it gets, like, really weird where there's, like, this cult that is, like, trying to
And
erase
Jane's like half demon or something.
yeah, and they're, like, trying to erase the darkness from people with card games, and it's weird. It's a weird show.
It is. I liked it for when I watched it, though.
Yeah. I mean, all things considered, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime is also not a great show either. I mean, it's not terrible.
The manga is based on is okay. The anime has horrible pacing, though. I'm just
I
gonna put
feel
that out
like-
there.
I feel like most shonen stuff has bad pacing, though. to
Yeah,
be
I
fair.
know. It's just, you know, we talk about Dragon Ball. The Battle City arc had like the worst case of it, and that's before you account for the filler arc that got crowbarred into the middle.
Just gonna say virtual arc, man. Virtual arc.
But I will say, at the very least, like, each duel in Yu-Gi-Oh! Only took like 2 or 3 episodes, versus...
What?
Only 2 or 3 episodes. You know,
Excuse me, though, you gotta watch the other
if they
Battle
did,
City.
if they didn't spend so much time on grandiose posturing, they could have gotten those same duels done in one
or
episode.
recaps for or recaps for shit we just saw.
That too, yes.
Oh, I love this guy.
What in the
I love this gag, but it's also
Sky,
like
you're wearing more clothes than what you started with. Come on. Like, seriously, they're actually wearing more clothes right now than they were beforehand, and they're upset about it. Well, I mean, I get them being upset about being trapped in place by the unmovable armor, but...
what in that?
so the battle armor is actually just one piece. Like they're not battle armor. It's basically just a giant toy. They've been converted into action figures. Dolls.
Don't call them dolls.
No, they're dolls. Let's be real. They're dolls.
Yeah.
Artistic freaks of fandom.
So it's like this game has a magic mode where you're in the hula skirt.
Why
But
isn't
you
that a
don't
costume?
make it the battle. Why don't you make it the battle armor?
I would love a battle armor mode, even just as an aesthetic.
Yeah, just an aesthetic thing. Like, missed opportunity. Like, I love it as a gag. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the gag, but it's also like it's not bad looking armor.
So I,
I'm reminded of what was Troya from Final Fantasy IV.
oh man, oh I love Squid Baron just getting the action figures. It's just.
And then he calls Sky ugly.
Then again, he has to fund his video game. Oh man. So I should note that Squid Baron has kids, and he hasn't like done anything about them in like 3 games.
Yeah, I think the Heart Squids are. I don't know the Heart Squids are his children.
No,
but
they're his sister's kids.
they're his sister's kids.
Yeah,
Okay.
in Risky's Revenge, he had like golden squids that he lost and you had to find. So, Squid Baron, where are your kids? Why are you spending all this money on action figures and not your children?
Hey, they're amiibos.
I
They'll
mean,
be worth a fortune.
No, they're actually not. If you look up any of them, they're pretty much dirt cheap. I feel like a sucker for having bought almost all of the Animal Crossing amiibo at retail price. I lost probably like $60 doing that. It's actually really sad. Oh, he's a scalper too. I never realized. Oh god.
Well, he's trying to fund his video game.
Okay.
Everything will be aquatic themed. See, he's actually describing the game we're playing right now.
He is. There's a
Huge squid bus. Of course, that's not all.
There'll be a radical hot babe just chilling out in his liquid brain like, hey, baby. They'll be so distracted they'll forget how to fight.
I mean, whatever your fetish is, Squid Baron, you do you, but...
I mean, he seems pretty secure in them, so...
I'm more concerned as like there are no air holes drilled into this plastic. I don't have long to live, Squid Baron.
They're 2-dimensional already, so they'll be fine, I guess.
Game and watching it.
So I think that all of the different things in the background here are references, but I can't think of what they're specifically supposed to be references to.
Well, you can see the dog in hell.
Yeah, you can.
A toy version of it.
I think like the tank is like the Armor Baron tank. But a lot of it, like, I can't tell if it's like supposed to be a reference to other Way Forward things or what, or if it's just random toys that they made.
What was the other game before Mighty Switch Force?
Mighty Flip Champs.
Was it?
Yeah, that game's really good. If you want to go back and like find a hidden gem by Way Forward, Mighty Flip Champs is actually an amazing game. And I really recommend. She has a unique animation for kicking them down too, which is really funny.
No, she kicked the peg holes out.
Yes, because it decreases the value.
Women
in the man cave.
I think at least one of these rooms there's a secret if you use the Quake here later on.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, something falls from the ceiling. I think it was just a nugget.
And I think that's a replica Branson sword in the middle there.
Yeah. I'm struggling to think what the robots are, though.
Sadly, Branson is not in this game.
They reference him a couple of times, though.
There's a Branson doll, though.
Yeah.
It's not Branson, though. Does the doll hold
Fun
the
and riveting.
does the Branson doll hold erect his corporeal blade?
I don't know if that drool stain doll really has a lot of worth on the secondary market there, Squid Baron. You might want to rethink that one.
It's valuable to someone.
Yeah, but everything's valuable to someone.
And now we're back in the.
That's like I keep saying to myself to justify my amiibo collection.
Now we're.
Look, listen. They're cool, all right. The Metroid amiibo, you can like squish it.
It's the only official, product we'll ever get of like F-Zero and certain other characters.
Yeah, there'll never be another Ice Climber figure ever made.
So, was it necessary to go through the whole armor baron thing?
Yes, because you get the drool stained doll for that, which you have to trade for another doll, to trade for another doll, to trade for another doll, to get the doll to give to the grandma. But thankfully they reduced that.
They're all in the same town.
They're all in the same room. So it's just, because the fetch quest where you trade all of the different stuff back to people is in a bunch of games. Link's Awakening's the first one I think of. But they only do it in one room, so you get the joke, but not the actually running back and forth across the entire game.
I like how they keep bringing up how they look, just to have more time of them in the outfits on screen.
Yeah, but she's wearing more clothes in that.
I just like that it's like, I'll take cash. It's basically, and he actually gives you fucking money for this.
From this to this.
So how are they doing that if they couldn't move inside the armor?
It's a visual gag, not necessarily what they're doing.
I know. It's just...
Again, should have been an extra mode.
I mean, I want a mode where you play as the angel with the giant warhammer.
You know what's funny? Because with the monster cards and all that sort of thing, I thought this game was going to have very much like a Castlevania Circle of the Moon alternative mode. There was a magician mode, and I believe there was an attacker mode where one gave you all the cards you can use, like from the get-go, and the other just gave you a fuckload of attack power and some other shit, but you couldn't use magic.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like have Battle Armor Shantae just like be the all-out offense, and magic mode just be regular magic mode. I mean, you need to rework a few things, because I see a game using nothing but your hair whip to get incredibly dull really fast.
yeah, that's why the magic's in the game basically, is to spice up the combat, which is fairly simple without it. I'm trying to think. You see, I don't normally play the hard alternative modes in games like this. Usually just the normal adventure is what I go for.
You never played magic mode in Risk User Friend?
No, I don't think I did, because it's not in the DSiWare version. And, I don't think I ever really played much of the other versions. Like, I know it's on Steam and other things like that, but I just didn't ever go and play those versions, because it's been several years since I played it. The last time I played it, I think, was probably when I recorded it for BrainScratch, which is probably 5 years old at this point, I think.
Oy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, no, I remember someone tweeted at us a few weeks ago about the 4th anniversary of the Nonsense Luigi part in Galaxy 2, and it's like, that was 4 years old.
That was already 4 years ago.
Time sucks and is a illusion. Why else would the past 3 months have been simultaneously extremely long and also incredibly slow?
Yeah, this is me remembering my first playthrough. What happens is they shuffle the answer for every save file.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So you can't remember.
You can't cheese it.
No.
I think you can. Oh yeah, I love that. I think you can guess it by brute force. But
I mean, you can, but that takes longer than it would do to just beat the. Depending on your luck, it would take longer to just do that than actually just play the level.
It certainly wouldn't be as fun. What I wonder is if it's tied to the specific save slot or if it's just randomized each time. Because some games, will have it be.
I mean, it could. I mean, I haven't tested it, but I wonder if it's also potentially tied to activating the seer dance. So it might spawn the answer after you do that to make sure you can't cheese it.
Right. It might be.
I think I remember when I was streaming it, somebody in my chat said that they cheesed it at some point by brute forcing it. But that's also Twitch chat, which you can't ever rely on you to tell the truth. So,
I mean, thank you for the bits and subscriptions, but I don't like you.
People bit and subscribe?
Yes.
Wow. That would be nice. I apologize. I love my viewers.
So this dungeon brings back the classic like eyeball platforms and all that.
Oh, yeah.
There are a couple of rooms though that you can deliberately cheese with the seer.
Yeah.
That spawn platforms that you can just ignore entirely. I didn't see if it was every room that had that though.
I mean, I like that though because it rewards you for thinking outside the box. You know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think to do that, and I know that there's at least one room I think where you're required to do it, but it's just really neat to me that, you know, if you do think to use it, then they reward you for that. I think that looks like the same pattern that I had. I think.
This one might
No,
be.
mine was a spider lobster claw, 2 fires.
Okay. I think it might be a similar arrangement then, because I remember that they had 2 matched in the crisscross kind of pattern like that. Also, another thing that I love that is not really important, but just cool, is that if you use the Quake near any sand, it just all disappears. Which is...
It just shakes.
Yeah, it shakes out, which is pretty neat. I think you can also cheese your way through certain areas before you have the water purifying magic by just spamming food items.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a heart squid you can get early if you have enough food items that's surrounded by toxic waste. I know that I did it.
Why?
Because I didn't know that the refresh dance could purify toxic water.
Yeah, but clearly you're not intended to use 12 healing items.
But I can.
No, but I also didn't think immediately to use the dance for it. I thought, okay, I'm maybe just missing an upgrade that allows me to zip past all this water. Maybe. But no, I think I can get it now. I have so much food.
I'm not using it for
And I
anything
did.
else.
Yeah, I'm not using it for anything else. And I
Oh,
have a few scars.
it's you again. Hi, Risky.
This is the only thing I don't like about the dungeons.
What the?
Like I don't like the fact that you fight Risky like in every single one of them.
I mean, it's...
You know,
I
it's a small thing, but I just don't like it.
I mean, it's... Mini bosses, I think, are fine. I don't
Yeah,
think
but
it
not the
needs
same
to be
person.
risky every time.
Yeah,
you know?
it doesn't need to be risky all the time.
Yeah, especially since the fights are fairly similar. She does add more moves every fight, which is nice.
Yeah, she's eventually working her way up into like the end of Half Genie Hero sort of status.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that they should make Risky not the main villain for the next game. Take a break. Because...
Shantae, risky. Shantae, risky. Shantae, risky.
Because, like, I mean, I know that she's the main villain of the series, but she also has this weird
She's also kind
hero
of
thing
not
going
been-
on. Like,
She's also not been the main villain of the series for like 3 games now.
oh, no, she was the main villain in 1, 2, 4,
And Half
this.
Genie Hero.
Yeah, and... Yeah.
And Half Genie Hero, because she's the one that activates the dynamo and all that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so she ultimately, I mean, she's not the final boss, but she's the main villain.
Yeah.
So I think that they could do well to give her a break, maybe even like not have her be in the game much at all necessarily. I mean, they don't need to do that. Risky's a great character and I love her, but I don't think that she needs to be like just evil in it, because I feel like she is a more complex character than that, and she kind of comes across as not as complex in this game and Half Genie Hero when she's just very clearly being selfish and I want the thing and I'm gonna get the thing, you know?
To an extent, I think it's better here than in Half Genie Hero. In Half Genie Hero, they kind of hit the reset button on her, which I always found a little weird.
Yeah.
After Pirate's Crisis specifically, but, you know, I like to think, and I'm fully prepared to eat a ton of crow here, but I'm thinking that by the next game, she's just going to become full-out anti-hero rival to Shantae. Like, she won't be the villain anymore in any capacity, because this game actually kind of follows up on Pirate's Curse a bit with like the relationship between Shantae and Risky, and it's kind of spoiling the end of it. But by the end of it, you know, Shantae is like kind of depressed that she can't really convince Risky to like be friends and all that sort of thing. But you know, Risky doesn't exactly disagree to that notion. You know, she likes like the typical tsundere sort of thing. And I think you don't really do that unless you have the intention of just going full out Vegeta by next game. Like that, she won't be a villain anymore after Shantae 6. The search for more money.
We'll see. I mean, at the very least, there's a reason for everybody else to, be okay with her versus everybody just accepting that he's one of the good guys after doing literally nothing to earn their trust and also not apologizing for any of the bad things. I hate Vegeta. I'm sorry.
Well, you said we'll have to see what happens to Risky and Shantae 6, but we'll see you all in the next part of Shantae for BrainScratch.